idea. Guys, you only have today to make this happen, so do it right. Be the man this Valentine's Day and bring her a beautiful bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, you can get 18 enchanted roses for only $29.99. That's your last chance to get this offer, so take advantage of it right now. Great flowers, great gift ideas. It's a family-run business that 45 years later is still run by the same family. So go to 1-800-Flowers.com. The roses are picked at their peak. They're shipped overnight, so they're fresh and they are beautiful. 18 enchanted roses for only $29.99. But this deal expires today, so hurry. Make sure you lock in this offer while supplies last. Order 18 enchanted roses for $29.99 or go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click on the radio icon and enter the promo code BECK. Order today, 1-800-Flowers.com, promo code BECK.
Hi, I'm Joe Nichols. I lost my dad to a rare lung disease called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, or IPF. Sadly, it took years for him to get diagnosed because the symptoms of IPF, which include breathlessness during mild physical activity, a dry, persistent cough, chest discomfort, are often confused with more common illnesses like COPD or asthma. I'm getting the word out about IPF, so if you or someone you love is experiencing the symptoms of IPF, talk to your doctor now. Please, help me spread the word. Visit breathlessipf.com.
Welcome back to the Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet group. That's right, a group who are specialists for their sunspots, complete functions, and their rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just do not cause you surprise. It's how she owns the place. See how she curls up and cuddles her person. The pitch on her purring is simply perfect. Nice one. Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one. Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt. Brought to you by Maddie Sons, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president tweeting on infrastructure as he gets ready to unveil his plan.
This will be a big week for infrastructure. After so stupidly spending $7 trillion in the Middle East, it is now time to start investing in our country.
Fox's John Roberts. The program, $1.5 trillion.
$200 billion of that will be money from the federal government, seed money, loan money. In terms of the overall budget, it includes an additional $300 billion for the military over 2 years, $23 billion for border security.
The Dow up in early trading, and a 32-year-old's wedding dress is thus partially resolved. An Ohio woman discovering the mistake when she went looking for her mom's wedding dress, finding the wrong one packed away by a dry cleaner, no longer in business. The story going viral on the internet, that dress going to its rightful owner. The Ohio woman is still hoping her mom sees found. Fox News, we report, you decide.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Time starts now. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children aged 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat? Where can you find the answers to these questions?
Car crashes are one of the leading killers of U.S. children. Many of those deaths could be prevented by making sure that kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It was a goal that I wanted to achieve at the very beginning. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma.
Protected.
CBS's Jerika Duncan says the suit alleges sexual misconduct, intimidation, and discrimination. Harvey Weinstein's attorney says a fair investigation will show many of the allegations are without merit. Official portrait unveiling this morning in Washington for former President Barack Obama.
How about that? That's pretty sharp.
The work from artist Kehinde Wiley shows the former president in a chair with green foliage behind him. Singer Vic Damone has died. He was 89 years old.
I have often walked on the street before.
Back in the day, Frank Sinatra said of Damone he had the best pipes in the business.
My feet before.
Street again. The Dow is up 169 points. This is CBS News.
Beauty Rest. When you sleep better, you run farther, lift harder, bike longer. But to sleep better, you need a Beauty Rest. Find a retailer at beautyrestretailers.com.
A weekend of gun violence. 2 of those shootings were deadly. I'll get to the details after Cairo Radio real-time traffic. Sully.
And all in all, we're kind of hanging in there. I mean, we're fighting it out there on our roads, and most of our travel times are behaving. Where they are not is on the southbound direction of 405, getting through the Linwood area down through Canyon Park and then on into Bellevue. We're up to an hour and 10 minutes there. By comparison, Everett to Seattle is about an hour. We do have one accident or stall now on the board. It's one of our first of the morning, and it's on southbound 405 as you pull south of I-90 heading down towards Renton. The HOV lane is blocked right around Lake Washington Boulevard. In the northbound direction of 405, we're looking at about a 40-minute real-time drive from Renton to Bellevue, and we're really starting to slow down across the lake bridges in the westbound direction. We're looking at some very heavy slowing on Mercer Island. I'll give you the complete travel times in 10 minutes. This report brought to you by Staples. Staples has low prices on everything your business needs to clear the clutter this year. Bankers boxes, file folders, storage bins. Less mess equals more success. Visit Staples.com for more. Staples, it's pro time.
Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM.
3 shootings this weekend and no suspects. In Skyway Sunday morning, a 45-year-old man was found shot in a driveway by an acquaintance. After 45 minutes of CPR, he died. His mother says the murder doesn't make sense.
Everybody knows Big C. My son wasn't a violent person. He was a pleasant person and a good person.
Also Sunday morning, a 27-year-old man was shot and killed in a Sodo area nightclub. No suspects in that case either. In Pioneer Square last night, a 19-year-old was shot twice in the stomach. The shooter was inside a car and pulled up alongside the teen and his brother.
All I heard was ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. Me and my brother turned around and we started running. The only time I looked back was when I looked back and I see my brother running and he was leaning like he got shot.
The 19-year-old had life-threatening injuries. We don't know his condition this morning. At the University of Washington this weekend, a handful of arrests as the College Republicans Club hosts the conservative group Patriot Prayer. A few fights broke out as counter-protesters stood outside the event. Most of the arrests were for disorderly conduct. Seattle is looking to vacate misdemeanor marijuana convictions. That announcement last week, but former Seattle mayoral candidate Nikita Oliver says the city should go further and also review felony convictions for growing or selling.
Because the moment an employer sees a felony on your record, regardless of what that felony is, they're most likely not even going to look at you as a potential candidate for a job.
Felony convictions in King County would require the approval of the county prosecutor, Dan Satterberg. He's expressed support for a review of some felony convictions. Your forecast, a cold start to the morning. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. We're only going to warm to 45 degrees, but a sunny day is on the way. Outside the Carter Subaru studios, it's 34 degrees. I'm Colleen O'Brien.
On demand with the Cairo Radio app. Cairo Radio News, 97.3 FM.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News brought to you by Wilcox Family Farms. And coming up, does automated trading play a role in the recent volatility on Wall Street?
You can get this sort of cascading feeling of the bottoms falling out because they all start to hit at the same time.
CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger will explain. And Hannah Scott will tell us about a few bills actually making progress in Olympia, including one for automatic voter registration. Does the city of Seattle's HR department need its own HR department?
When they bring those complaints forward to the Human Resources Department, they find employees that are more interested in kind of protecting the city than they are in fully investigating their cases.
Everybody knows what the HR department is supposed to do. Human Resources should ensure that you have a safe working environment free from sexual harassment. But what happens when the HR department itself has its own harassment problem? That apparently has been the case for the city of Seattle, according to reporter David Croman, who writes about it in Crosscut.
There's some confusion among employees about whether the Human Resources Department are there to sort of represent employees or whether they're there to represent the city and sort of prevent the city from experiencing too much liability. So
I see.
Certain employees, when they have complaints, they feel like when they bring those complaints forward to the Human Resources Department, they find employees that are more interested in kind of protecting the city than they are in fully investigating their cases.
Okay, so in other words, the Human Resources Department sees itself more as a buffer than as an advocate?
That's the perception among employees who feel like they've been mistreated and their complaints are not going answered. I think that people in Human Resources might sort of have a different angle on that. that they're trying to sort of get to the bottom of some of these complaints, which sometimes don't necessarily lead anywhere.
Okay, so I would think if anybody's going to change this, it would be a female mayor, and we have a female mayor. What has her interest in this been?
So when she came in, she became mayor. She asked for sort of a broad overview of how well human resources in the city was enforcing policies and procedures, and she figured out that really nobody had any idea. Not only that, she didn't know how many times the city of Seattle had settled sexual harassment complaints. There was just sort of this diffuse system. So she pretty quickly said, okay, no more quietly settling sexual harassment complaints. From now on, you have to go through, if you're going to settle a harassment complaint, you have to go through my office, and you have to give me a 30-day notice so that I can better understand sort of how human resources in the city is being deployed.
Okay, so it sounds like she's taking charge of this now.
She's starting to, yeah.
I'm really curious. What kinds of harassment go on in a department whose job it is supposedly to prevent harassment?
So the central HR department, which is sort of, they handle kind of broad administrative tasks for the whole city, they'd sort of started going under this reorganization under Ed Murray before Jenny Durkin. And that process sort of became so intense that people described being bullied. People got so stressed out that I talked to one woman who blames a stroke that she had on...
A stroke?
She says that, yeah, she never had any issues with it before, and then she had a stroke literally in the middle of the day at work. And she said she blames specifically the stress of working in the HR department for that.
Okay, but that's not sexual harassment. I mean,
no,
if you're under stress, then I don't... How can you classify that as sexual harassment?
I'm not classifying everything as sexual harassment. A lot of this has to do with just sort of a broader harassment. There are women in the city, and plenty of women, making complaints that they're talked down to or not treated very well by men. But the complaints, I think, go beyond just sort of sexual harassment. I've heard about discrimination based on race, bullying from supervisors. The sense is, in the certain departments in the city of Seattle, harassment is not necessarily just confined to one group of people, that everybody is feeling under pressure and
well, so is there a systemic problem of some kind that we should be concerned about here?
If there's a systemic problem, it's that when somebody has a complaint, they're not really sure where to bring it. So, you could bring it to the their HR departments, but the HR departments report to the boss, who often is the subject of some of these complaints.
Right. But that sounds like a human resources office for the human resources office. I mean, isn't that what the office that's already there is supposed to be doing?
Some people would make that argument, yeah.
Well, if they're not, you should fire the people who aren't doing the job.
And the most recent head of human resources in the city of Seattle recently resigned. It was framed as mutual, but it's hard to totally see that as being actually a mutual decision.
I recall this. I've been here, 40 years now. I recall this happening back in the days when the first female linemen were working for Seattle City Line.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty nasty then.
Right.
But the women proved themselves, and my impression was that they had won over the men, and that kind of stuff had gone away. But your piece implies that it's as bad as ever.
I think that it is as bad. I mean, if you talk to these women, I think they would say that it is as bad as ever.
Wow.
And the phrase that you hear over and over is "good old boys club," especially in the utilities department and the transportation department. So these are places where there are a lot of men working. A lot of them have been there for many decades, sort of see themselves as old school. So yeah, it's been a corrosive environment that's been building over years. But when people come out and they make these complaints, and then the end result is the conclusion is that, in fact, you're the one who's hard to work with, it doesn't exactly do very much to encourage other people to come forward to their HR department.
Then, bottom line, you think this is going to be dealt with by the new mayor?
I think has already begun to try to deal with it, and the city council is going to try to deal with it. I think it's a really deep problem when you have 12,000 employees. This sort of thing is very, very complicated to eradicate. So I don't think it's going to be an overnight fix.
Reporter David Croman, you can find his pieces on crosscut.com. 12 past 8 o'clock, 34 at the Carter Subaru studio, and with the forecast from the Cairo 7 Pinpoint Forecast Center. Here's Nick Aller.
We're going sunshine today. It really is beautiful, but as Dave mentioned, very cold outside. A lot of spots still in the 20s and 30s. Because of the cold start and north wind across the area, we're only going to be into the mid-40s this afternoon, but your average temperature is 50, so only a few degrees below normal. That's about where we'll be tomorrow, with more sunshine after a very cold start, and then we'll look for some rain overnight tomorrow night into Wednesday. But Wednesday itself just looks like a scattered shower kind of day. The system overnight Tuesday moves through pretty darn quickly. Then Thursday and Friday, a few showers. I think especially into Friday, most of what falls, because there will be some moisture out there, will fall at elevation, so I don't see as much for the rest of us. Saturday, some rain, just pretty much rain at times. And then after it, once that system moves through, the snow level will drop down to probably between 500 and 1,000 feet. We still have a few days on our hands, obviously, before we get there, but I don't see much moisture. I see just enough to say, like on Sunday, you might find some pockets of some snow or some wet snow showers, but what usually happens as the coldest air is coming in, we're drying out, so there's not normally a lot left to give us much. So for now, I'd say, sure, maybe a few wet snow showers at elevation, but I don't see much for now.
Saw some crocuses blooming over the weekend.
It's happening.
These little white flowers, little February snowbells, I call them. I don't know what they're really called, but it's very encouraging.
They're called awesome because I want spring.
That's right. 34 and traffic time now brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. Here's Chris.
And here's one thing I haven't had to say in a long time. Our eastbound lake bridges are slowing down because of sun glare. It's really starting to, if you're wondering why you're starting to hit the brakes hard as you pull out of the Mount Baker tunnels, because you're staring basically right to a bright light, just because of the angle of where the sun is right there. So I haven't had to say that for a while, so I hope you have your sunglasses today if you're heading eastbound into Bellevue. The westbound lake bridges are just dealing with their normal stuff as you come across, looking at 25 minutes on I-90, about 17 minutes on 520 to go from Bellevue to Seattle. Now, the one problem we did have on the board in terms of crashes or stalls, I mentioned 10 minutes ago, we had a crash southbound on 405 right around Lake Washington Boulevard, so south of the I-90 interchange. I was blocking the HOV lane, but it's been moved out of the way, so the lanes have reopened there. Still have some slowing to deal with as you come down south of I-90. The rest of the map, 40 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Everett to Seattle, about 50 minutes, so a little lighter than a typical day, about an hour from Everett to Bellevue, so not too bad there. Federal Way to Seattle, 45 minutes, so that's good. Yelp.
No.
Shootings last night.
My pleasure, Jason, thanks. Absolutely. You're listening to the Jason Rancho, time to get to work the right way.
One in Pioneer Square, one at a club just south of Pioneer Square.
Now this was
South Horton Street.
A 45-year-old man named Antoine Matthews, who was leaving a home in the wee hours. Was that it?
Well, he was found outside. They heard gunshots about 4:30, and a woman heard the gunshots, went outside and found him lying in her driveway.
Sunday morning.
4:30. Yes, 4:30 Sunday morning.
Okay.
Woman heard gunshots, went out and found the body of Mr. Matthews in her driveway. The homeowner and Mr. Matthews knew each other. Police are not at liberty at the moment to say why or what the relationship is, but she did say she was not expecting him at the house at 4:30 in the morning. The mother was interviewed.
Any idea how long he was there?
They heard shots and the police responded fairly quickly. So it was like the shooting occurred somewhere within a couple minutes of 4:30.
So had he been in the house and he walked out, or had he gone to the house and was...
Generally, he was shot from the outside and not entered the house.
Oh, had not entered the house.
He was shot on the outside.
Okay.
And he has some relationship with the woman inside the house, but they didn't say what that relationship was, if they're friends or, divorced parents. There was some response. The King County Sheriff's Office responded because that's outside the city limits.
Yeah.
They discovered the body in the driveway. The mother got there about 6:45. She was pretty emotional. She was on Como this morning. They had a quote from her saying that she's tired of black people being killed and that a mother isn't supposed to bury their child, a child's supposed to bury their mother. And the police say they have not recovered a weapon and they have no clues. They're asking people with any information to contact them.
So it's a relatively low crime area. I mean, Skyway has its more than its share of crime.
Yes, they do.
But I think this was a residential area that is fairly stable and fairly peaceful. Neighbors pronounce themselves being shocked.
Yeah, shocked that they were hearing gunshots, yes, that kind of thing, yes.
So when we learn more, we will pass that along to you. But a pretty violent weekend. Also, a store clerk, got shot in the face up in Snohomish County. It was with a BB gun.
Right, yeah, I saw that one too.
Luckily, didn't take out his eye.
Yeah. Now, it'll be interesting. Of course, two of these, apparently young people, 19, 27, the older man being 45. But I suspect some of these are gang activity. Well, we'll see. The police really don't know. They haven't revealed any information. So we'll find out.
It is coming up here on 18 minutes after 8 o'clock. John Carlson, Kirby Wilbur, Talk Radio 570 KVI. Our sponsor of this portion of the show, Alpine Specialty Cleaning. I've been telling you for a while now about the good people at Alpine. The place to go for carpet cleaning. Alpine Super Truck carpet cleaning process. Nothing like traditional carpet cleaning. It is better. What's even better is Alpine Specialty Cleaning, family owned and operated.
To be the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union had half of the countries.
Hey, also, if you're someone who's trying to purchase or sell a home, call Insulation Northwest first for a free energy inspection. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company. InsulationNorthwest.com.
If you need some flooring fast, avoid the hassle, save your gas, we'll drive the store to your door. Hate Carpet. Astonishing softness, maximum durability. Experience the extraordinary with Smart Strand Silk Reserve from Mohawk. Available for your home at Hate Carpet and Interiors. Smart Strand Silk Reserve is not only the softest carpet that Mohawk has ever created, it also features built-in lifetime stain protection. Each strand is packed with 700 silky, stain-resistant fibers, 3 times more than ordinary nylon. It's luxuriously soft to touch, but dense to resist crushing and matting in your active home. And with all pet protection and warranty, as well as Nanolock Spill and Soil Shield, your carpet is 3 times easier to clean. Inspired by contemporary sophistication, Smart Strand Silk Reserve is an all-new level of softness, only at Hate Carpet. Hate Carpet Mobile Stores, there's no better way to buy your floors. You love Hate.
I'm Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Neither rain, nor sleet, nor gloom of night will keep us from hauling away your junk. How about a flood? Not even that. Tornado? Nope. Blizzard? Nope. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. What are you trying to say? When you've got junk that needs to disappear, all you have to do is point. Don't worry about how or if we can get there. We can. And we will. I love working with these guys. We work until midnight, 7 days a week. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
If you have cracked, broken, or missing teeth and would like a dental implant for a reasonable cost, I'm Dr. Doug Whitfield with our $850 dental implant offer. We could save you thousands. Call 206-575-1000 or 850implants.com. Run and post not included.
Jason Rance here. If you think a pillow can't change your life, it's because you've never actually experienced a MyPillow. It gives you the support you need. In fact, it adjusts to your individual needs. But something I love about MyPillow, they're 100% machine washable. Now, why is that important? Well, for one, you've got those yellow stains that are embarrassing and gross. But beyond that, I read a study that says there are up to 100,000 dust mites living in your pillow right this second. Another study said about 1/3 of your pillow's weight is due to dead skin, dust mites, and bugs. That's what you're sleeping on every single night. Maybe you should go with the MyPillow so you can clean that thing, and on top of that, get a great night's sleep. Maybe you should get a 4-pack of pillows. In fact, I'm going to give you a 4-pack of pillows at 50% off. So long as you use promo code KTTH, you'll get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Go Anywhere pillows can be used when you're traveling. They can be used while driving to work or at the office for some additional back support. I love mine. To get 50% off a 4-pack of pillows, go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and use promo code KTTH, or you can give them a call, 1-800-951-5407. That's 1-800-951-5407, and tell them promo code KTTH. That's going to get you 50% off 2 MyPillow premium pillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Again, MyPillow.com, promo code KTTH. Welcome back to the Jason Rance Show, live in the Online Trading Academy studio. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I'm not really a big Olympics guy, certainly not the Winter Olympics, because I don't know about you, I don't particularly think dancing on ice is a sport. Now, it's a game, you can get rated, but it's not actually a sport. What has become a sport, the media going after Mike Pence and Donald Trump. They hate the Trump administration and everyone associated with it, and so when Mike Pence goes down to the Olympics, they are looking in this country, the media is looking in this country for any way to mock him, to shame him, even if they end up supporting a murderous dictator, which is exactly what they ended up doing over the weekend. Vice President Pence was seated a few seats in front of the sister of Kim Jong-un from North Korea. Her name is Kim Yong-jong. And it appears that Reuters loves her. The New York Times love her. Washington Post, they love her. Which is ironic because she's literally in charge of North Korea's Department of Propaganda and Agitation. There's something weird about American media fawning over the woman who is in charge of media propaganda. The New York Times, they had a story. It was titled, Kim Jong-un's sister turns on the charm, taking Pence's spotlight. A tweet that they sent out. Without a word, only flashing smiles. Kim Jong-un's sister outflanked Vice President Mike Pence in diplomacy. They are fawning over her, and it's embarrassing. When the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un decided to send a large delegation to the Winter Olympics in South Korea this month, the world feared he might steal the show. If that was indeed the intention, he could not have chosen a better emissary than the one he sent, his only sister, Kim Yo-jong, whom news outlets in the South instantly dubbed North Korea's Ivanka. Think Progress on Twitter said, despite Mike Pence's sabotage, North Korea's charm offensive appears to be working. Mike Pence's sabotage? What was that sabotage? This sister is an embarrassment, and the fact that people are talking about her is an embarrassment. Her brother runs concentration camps. Now, I'm led to believe that those are wrong. I'm led to believe that by, history, by my Jewish heritage. But apparently the New York Times and Think Progress and CNN and Reuters and Washington Post think it's kind of okay to fawn over the sister of the dude responsible for them. In North Korea, they starve their citizens. In North Korea, they murder dissidents. In North Korea, they killed Otto Warmbier. He died here, but what they did caused his death. Does that American life not mean much to you as you take pot shots at Mike Pence pushing up North Korea? Is that cool? Well, how about this? Because I'm told, you got to shine a spotlight on facts and